Hello traders, it's Graham here from Kilt Trading. What a crazy week it's been last week. We have gone into lockdown 3.0 in Melbourne. We've got a 5-day lockdown which hopefully ends on Wednesday. We've had Australian Open tennis with no spectators, and we've had Bitcoin racing what looks to be its next key level up to 50,000 US dollars. Does it get any crazier than that, guys? Okay, as always, we're going to get straight into it. Now, what we did over the weekend, or what I did with my son over the weekend, who's 15, is he's quite interested in stocks and what I've been doing. I guess has a general interest on stocks now. It's getting a little bit more coverage, with lockdowns, etc. The things that are still open, as I explained to him, it's still the markets. We've still got cryptocurrency, we've got foreign exchange, we've got stocks, we've got futures, we've got options there. All those markets are still open. None of those have had a shutdown. So what I did was, over the weekend, I said, look, pick out some companies that you may be quite interested in, and I gave him a site where you could actually go in, which he loved. I think it was more the intrigue, which was, here's companies that have a lot of inside buying. Now, when we say inside buying, when a company is on the share market, any stock exchange, particularly in the US and here in Australia and the UK, if you have a CEO or a CFO or, say, chief scientific officer, for example, someone of fairly senior rank within the organisation, if they buy a significant number of shares or sell a significant number of shares, that has to be announced to the share market. So I gave them a site which is freely available. You guys will get it if you sign up for any of our indicators. Particularly the Kilted Trend Pilot. That's what I use to trade stocks predominantly. I use nothing else. But that information is freely available. So what he did was he basically listed no fewer than 13 stocks where we had a high level of insider buying. Now, this wasn't the odd $100,000. This was in the millions of dollars, where we've got CFOs, etc. And always get a little bit excited when you get CFOs and finance people buying up, because they're usually the fairly conservative type. So if they're buying up big, then something has to be going on. So the first one we had a look at was OPK, which is a healthcare sort of stock in the US. Trades on the NASDAQ, I think. Trades on the NASDAQ. So we basically, the process what I had with Logan was we did a little bit of a tutorial in terms of what we're looking for. No different to what's on the YouTube channel. We're looking for strength in the trend in our Kilted Strength Mirror. I've got a few indicators down the bottom as well, ignore those. But we've got the Kilted Strength Mirror and we've got the Kilted Trend Pilot. So I've got some lines drawn here in terms of support resistance, which are automatically drawn. But what I did with Logan was basically switch over to our Kilted Price Action Trader indicator, which I use to, pinpoint entries. So I use this to indicate potential setups. So we've got, our thick blue line matching our thinner blue line, which means we've got a definite uptrend. You can see that it's peeling off a little bit. We've got this downtrend that I'm drawing here. We've got a little bit of red coming in terms of that weakness, but we're looking to go long next. So what we did was I had a look at this one and we looked at it together. So what we did was we said, okay, why is price stopped right there? Why is it pulled back from here? And we're seeing a bit of red on our Kilted Trend Pilot as well. Now, what we have to do is look left, because the one thing the market does do is store its memory in terms of where price has been before. So if we look left, we can see resistance, 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 and all this resistance. We're consolidating and we burst through it, and then we've been on this journey down. So the market tends to respect key levels. Now, when I initially had a look at this, I wasn't really all that interested, I have to admit. But then once we'd drawn the levels and we got a better idea in terms of what was actually going on with the stock, and we saw it actually closed up, I sat back and said, well, okay, I like trading patterns, especially in stocks, right? Because you have to think, well, who else is looking at this? You've got your fund managers, and if something makes sense to a fund manager to buy it, then it makes sense to be interested. So what we've drawn out here, this is on a daily time frame. I actually spotted an inverse, what we call an inverse head and shoulder. So we've got the right shoulder here, the left shoulder here, we've got the head and the right shoulder over here. We've got this trend line here, which are drawn. So we've got this upward sort of triangle where we're pressing this resistance again. You can see there it's now starting to accelerate in terms of its angulation up. So what we're looking for here, and this is a great thing about TradingView, is you can actually set alerts when we have a daily close above this level, and that's exactly what I've set here. I've set it as soon as price gets through this level here, which is the $6.10. What we're looking for is this price action here. We're looking for it to go up. We're looking for it to then retest and then shoot to our next level. Okay, so that's one to maybe watch with us. Now we're taking some trades on these, and we're going to journal what we've done and share the journey along the way. We have taken one. I'm not going to tell you what one we've taken. That would give them too much away, but I can show you the setups all for educational purposes only, of course, but it shows you how we use the Kilted Trend Pilot and the Kilted Price Action Trader to pinpoint some of these entries. So the next one we'll have a look at was Works. So that was the second one we had a look at. So Logan liked to look at this one. Again, we've got this really strong uptrend. You can see we've sort of broke it here, and we've got our Kilted buy A+ signal, which has been absolutely bang on the money. It's been an A+ setup. It's gone from $1.52 basically, let's say conservatively, $1.60 to $2.60. So that's quite an impressive move there, and we've had a retest. We could have jumped in again here. Now look, Logan's looking, saying, oh, we've had a couple of buy signals here. This one's looking quite good. The trend's up, and tend to agree with him. So what we did was we had a look at this one on exactly the same thing, rinse, repeat. So again on the NASDAQ, now we on the daily here. So again, we did a little bit of a write-up on this one in terms of what we are looking for. So we've got a bit of a trend reversal happening here as well. It looks as if this one, it's come down off, quite high levels. It's just soared right down. We put that down to a little bit of COVID and things bottoming out. I mean, it's tumbled down, and it looks as if it's starting to turn around. I mean, it was up 4%, 4.38%. on the close on Friday. So what are we looking for? What's going to get us interested? So what we can do sometimes, which is quite clever, is you can look at your moving averages and you can dot them out as I've done here, and you can anticipate where the moving average is going to go to if price continues to leg its way up. So what we're looking for in this one, and again, I asked Logan, why did we stop here? And he's looked across and he's picked out some of the support levels that's been broken that have become resistance, which is exactly what's happened here. So what we're looking for is we'll go down to a slightly lower time frame, which is where I like to trade off of. Sometimes I'll trade off the daily or the 4 hour. Generally in stocks I won't be going down any less than the 4 hour, especially in the UK market, the US market, where I'm generally sort of asleep. So what we're looking for here, we've got our dotted lines here. So we're looking for price to break. And again, you can see we've got an alarm set, back down, retest, then back up to this sort of 394 level, which is where we've wicked off from here. And we've tested here before it shorted off, it retested here. So this is a sort of logical level. If we do get through here, we're looking for this move, then bull up. So that's Works, which is a technology services company. And the other one we had was this one, Gen. So again, Logan's had a look at this one. I particularly like this one. as well when we looked at it. So again, he's got strength in the trend here, which is really nice. We've got it in this sort of buy zone where we're basically pulling back down to the average here, this blue line, looking for an entry back in. We have built up a little bit here, which is really healthy as well, which is really good. So again, exact same thing. What we do is we pull up the Kilted Trend Pilot, the Kilted Price Action Trader. This one's on the New York Stock Exchange. Healthcare's been doing particularly well, as we'd expect. So again, this one has come down quite heavily, but as you can see, it's a fairly sharp turnaround. And what we're looking to do is basically get in again. Now, this one was an interesting one. We did a bit of a lecture on this one. You can see, and Logan got a little bit excited about, how I trade these things, because what you're looking for is these, not necessarily ride the long wave, which you can do. This is what investors are looking for. They're looking to get in here, then they'll just hold it for a particular period of time. It might be, a year, 2 years, depends on your outlook. The way I trade the market, and especially at the moment where things are, fairly volatile, we'll still get the VIX is, above 20 still, so we still get volatility. I like to get in and out. So I like to take the moves and get in out quick so that I haven't got too much risk on the table for any one trade. So what we're doing here is we're looking for, we can almost see it's sort of retested already. So, and this is on the 4 hour as well, guys. But we've drawn out our levels for where it might go to. So if this does indeed reverse around and start going north, what we'll be looking to do is basically, at the moment, again, we've got a nice pin bar set up here. So we've got an entry. I've just drawn this. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm in this one, but that's one of the potential setups. What I'm looking for, or what we'd look for here, is a break of that pin bar, this one here. I'll just take this off. It's a bit hard to see. So if we break this pin bar, I'm looking to potentially go long back into this zone, and then I'd probably trail it up to this zone here, and that would be my take profit. And what I was saying to Logan was it's kind of rinse repeat. So once you get into a pattern, a trend, what you're doing is you're taking positions in the direction of the trend. So you're waiting for this pullback, back down to the moving average, then getting in long. Where are you taking it to? You're taking it to the next sort of key level or resistance level in this case. And then you're doing rinse repeat. So I've basically said, okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 trades potential in this one, riding it back up to this level where it shorted off of here. Okay. So hopefully that was of benefit to you guys, how we perhaps can use the Kilted Trend Pilot to, use it to almost like a scanning tool, like a filter, where you get your notifications, you can set up all your alerts here, and then you're looking for that entry. So what I do is I use the Kilted Price Action Trader, and I'm looking for those precision entry points to get into the market. So I'm looking at structure, I'm looking at price action, I'm looking at the moving averages. Are they in our favor? So again, guys, the offer is still there on our Facebook page. If you want to grab the indicators that we've got here, we're doing still fantastically well. We will share the journey, myself and Logan, as we look to pick some of these trade setups, but get on board. It's not that difficult. We'll help you along the way. We'll be sharing some of these trade ideas, particularly with if anyone's signing up for the Kilted Trend Pilot. We're looking at setting up a service where we put some of these sort of particular good setups that we're seeing in the market. We'll get you guys who sign up on an email list, and we can push out some trade ideas that you guys can take with us, which will be really cool. But that's all for this week, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed this one. Grab the indicators if you can. They are very cheap. If you're buying any systems out there in the market, you're talking thousands and thousands of dollars for getting some of the education and training and the setup and the tools to trade the market sensibly and professionally. So jump on and buy them while they're at these crazy prices. So as I always say, look after your families. We are still in crazy times, but look after yourself and your families, and more importantly, stay safe. And we'll talk to you next time. Thanks a lot, guys.